Are we live? We may not get grooving today.
That's not coming up.
Okay.
Oh, yep, we're on.
We gotta let Groovin play a little now. Just because it is the weekend. You're killing me.
Oh, yep, we're on.
Whatever. Groovin's off. And we will transition. It's a rough start. And we're on. Bam. That's my new we're rolling.
Like,
Bam.
like Emerald. Or does he say bang?
Oh, yeah, he's the cooking guy.
Bam!
Bam. Yeah, I think he's Bam.
Yeah.
I like Bam.
Yeah, Bam's good.
Bam.
I like Zing.
So it is
26.
October 26th.
Oh, shit, it's my mom's birthday today. Whoops.
Yikes, did you?
No, I didn't.
All right, wait. Let's talk about how much you're in trouble after we get through. It's October 26th. I'm Chris.
I'm Charlie.
And we are
Dead. Hey, Ballin.
Uh-oh.
I'll buy her flowers on the way home.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just run up to Heartland
Yeah.
and get a nice bouquet.
Wow, she was cool as a cucumber, too. She didn't even pretend to care.
Happy weekend.
Yeah, happy weekend.
So where were we?
Oh, no, it's tomorrow. What am I talking about?
Well, you're good.
Safe again. Fucking jeez.
All right.
Ooh, bullets dodged. All right, we've already been through
I'm
a whole
holding back.
emotional roller coaster.
What were we going to talk about to begin with?
Speech, language.
Yeah, there was something I was like, well, that's a good opener. I don't know what it was.
BBC.
No. I don't know. Oh, just that it's Saturday,
Oh,
and
sorry.
we're just doing a free-for-all, free-form, whatever comes up, that's what we're talking about Saturday.
kind of like some of our favorite episodes.
Yeah, that's kind of the last show for sure. Yeah, the BBC thing, I'll get into that. And it was annoying, but it's worth 5 minutes.
We can get into that later if you want.
So the language, bring it to language.
So Trump recently came under fire for using some, whatever, insensitive language, I'd say. And it's not without reason, right? It's not like it's...
I got to interrupt you. If that's the way they framed it, they're not very good at doing their jobs.
Wait, what?
Because that's nothing new.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Trump came under fire for using some insensitive language.
Right,
Yeah, good point.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I had a podcast going as I was getting ready this morning, and I was just kind of milling around doing stuff, and I forget what I had selected on there, but it went to Trump episodes or David Letterman episodes where he had Trump on.
Oh, yeah.
And Letterman hasn't been on in probably close to 10 years.
I have no idea.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And Trump he hasn't changed.
That's, well...
And in the first episode, Letterman, little YouTube clip, Letterman introduced him as New York's most hated, underhanded, whatever real estate moguler. It was not a flattering introduction. And he was just such the same guy.
Well,
anyway.
At least you know what you're getting.
In fact, it was
everybody knows
funny.
at this point.
Letterman kind of made him squirm a little bit. He asked him about doing business. He's like, so you ever found yourself in a position where you've got to deal with the mob? And he actually kind of deftly backed his way out of that question.
Yeah, of course.
Then somehow it came up again, and he goes, well, actually, you can't be in construction and not at least meet a lot of them. And he goes, they're actually very good people. And I'm like, oh, my God. That's, he got himself in trouble saying that about, the Charlottesville thing. KKK.
Oh, yeah, there's some very nice people. Yeah.
And in some of that, what was on the news was totally taken out of context. That having been said,
Yeah, that was fun.
he did make a comment that there's good people and bad people on both sides of all things. When you're talking about the KKK, you probably should just
Even
Stay away from that. It's
it's funny.
Foolish comments.
I never actually drew that, like, which is gonna sound so obvious and ridiculous that I never actually came to that conclusion until now. But it's like when you say the KKK, even if one of those guys on there is like, he cares about his family and he loves whatever his wife and works hard and he's never late at his job and he is always honest, all this stuff. It's like you can't say that guy's a good guy.
You can't.
Just for the fucking optics. You just can't ever say that he's a good dude.
Could you even, if you're not a white supremacist, could you even, in good conscience, allow him to be a good guy?
What do you mean?
Well, I think there's certain inherent evils with anybody who would profess membership with or agreement to what the KKK stands for. And admittedly, and maybe proudly, I can say that I don't know what all their stuff is. But I think like wanting black people dead is part of their mantra. Maybe not dead, but maybe
disenfranchised.
Certainly nothing nice and egalitarian.
Well, I know what I'm going to say. I'll say it becomes fine until you act on it.
That's fair.
Like, because
That's
otherwise,
fair.
what I'm gonna fuck, do the same shit to you because you're thinking something or hoping something.
I'm relatively confident that their history, going back,
well, there was obviously they did act on it in the past, but
right.
I'm just saying at this point now, like, if you're going out and you're,
So I'll say this. Here's what I'll say that might sound fucked up to somebody who might be listening, but one of the things that's great about America is you can be a member of something like the KKK. It's totally within your rights, and that's important.
I said that to some guys from work the other day.
And they didn't get it.
No, well, I don't know that it was, the whole point was lost, but, it was like, we're talking about basically why the Nazi party doesn't exist in Germany, but we have guys over here who kind of
doesn't officially exist.
Right. And I'm like, because we have fucking awesome laws like the First Amendment that protect your right to that shit. And until you start, actually harming people, there's a lot of leeway there.
Yeah, there's total leeway.
Yeah, it's like I just have ideas, dude. Whatever, this is a hobby. I don't even care about it that much. You could even be one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a sociopath or psychopath or a frickin' what's the word for the psychos who are attracted to children?
Pedophile?
Yeah, you can be a pedophile. You can, right, and as long as you don't commit a crime, no harm, no foul.
Right, that's where you draw the, and
as fucked up as the thoughts might be.
I was just about to go somewhere with that, but I don't want to talk about it. That's just fucking weird. I was gonna go with like they're inventing all these like sex robots now, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, so I'd say until you start actually harming people, whatever. I mean, I don't know, and people are gonna
you can't argue with that. But so I sidetracked you from your original thing. Right. So the language about
Trump said something about like the current impeachment thing that's going on. He's like, this is a public lynching,
yeah,
or something along those lines. And I can pull up the actual, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to what he said. And so obviously, insta outrage. He just pressed a button. It's like beep beep beep, insta outrage, delivered. And Joe Biden said something about when Clinton was getting impeached. Very similar to a lot, like very, very, very close to what he was saying. He's like, this is a public lynching going on of our president.
Did he use that word?
Yeah.
Well, it was 20 years ago.
And he goes, the reason why I did it wasn't bad is because I just said it, impromptu, and Trump was saying it deliberately as a dog whistle.
Biden said it?
Yeah, Biden said it. Yeah. About what was happening to Clinton.
The thing I'll say is it's 20 years ago. It's a bad word. Its connotation is ugly. It's and it's real, and I believe it's a bad thing to bring up for a reason, right? And I normally rage against bullshit, and I don't think that one's bullshit. That's one you just file away and you never say again, because it's not associated with ugly behavior. It was ugly behavior, like the worst.
Well, right. There's the connotation behind it, but like.
But anyway, but your point more is the hypocrisy, I think. So I wasn't aware of the Biden thing. No?
No, go ahead. Well, the Biden thing I could give a fuck about. Like, the people, like, the right-wingers are all pointing at that. And I'm like, this is a nothing to me. Nothing burger, but...
I don't think Trump was sounding at a dog whistle. I think that's bullshit. I think...
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Trump's ever sounded a dog whistle. I think he's too fucking stupid to be as cerebrally duplicitous as people say he is. He's just got diarrhea of the mouth, and I think indirectly and unintentionally he has empowered racists and white supremacists and on and on and on. But I just think the guy is just fucking clueless and just doesn't think, speaks, and people put thoughts behind his words that aren't even there. That's my opinion. I think he's an idiot, and you know that. And
that's a fair opinion to have.
So he's either an idiot or he's like so fucking smart that the most brilliant of people still haven't figured out how smart he is. And I'm sorry. I can't go there. I think he's just an idiot, and he just is clueless and unfiltered.
For the sake of brevity, for the sake of timing,
we got an hour, man.
It'll take the whole. Well, I'm saying we'll go down this rabbit hole and we'll have gone nowhere.
Okay.
We'll make it nowhere. And you know how.
Well, you're right. Yeah, because I don't have a lot of passion behind what I just said. It's just what I think.
Well, neither do I.
It doesn't make it right.
I don't think he's an idiot, but I think he's playing 4D chess game, and like the other people are dumb, whatever. And he does have diarrhea of the mouth. Maybe that's just a factor, but yeah, like we could go down and talk about this shit for fucking 30 minutes. And get
so I'll just say, just for the hell of it, I'll end it in our. I think we're kind of saying we're going to agree to disagree on some of the finer points.
Yeah.
But he ain't playing chess, man. He's playing checkers at best.
I'll let you get the last word in there. That's fine. I'll avoid this. I'll bite my tongue, even though it really hurts.
Thank you. That makes me feel good.
So I think that the fuck it. All right. You ever, like the term white trash?
I know the term.
To me, it's in my mind. I'm starting to equate that with like pretty much like whatever. It's going in the racial slurs file. Like I've kind of stopped using it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just because to me, it's like a dirty word. Like if I say that, like I'm being kind of a dirty person for saying that. Or
white
like,
trash, trailer trash. Yeah, those are
anything like that.
Yeah, those have certain connotations that are connect skin color to other bad stuff for sure.
Right. And the reason that I don't say it is because, right, obviously speech. Wouldn't be talking to myself, and when I talk to other people, the word has connotations that are negative. And if I'm talking to somebody and just not necessarily talking about them, but say it in passing, and they're like, "I'm fucking white trash," like yada yada yada. I don't know. That's the thing that bugs me. So
you know what I think? Sorry to interrupt, but and maybe you've thought about this, and maybe you haven't. You know what offends me, and I think is racist and wrong, is the term white privilege. You're fucking making assumptions about me because I had an upper middle class upbringing,
right?
And that I have had certain advantages, and it offends me. It just fucking offends me. Shut up, guy.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, and that's exclusively about your race. So that's like talk about racism. I mean, I don't know what else. Like that's a good example of racism. But
so what's one of the most celebrated and arguably kind of beautiful kumbaya statements ever made in the history of America? Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have a dream.
I have a dream. Judged not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
Their wallets.
You know what? If you grew up middle class or upper middle class white guy, Shouldn't we be afforded the same fucking thing?
And that's the whole point. It's like, it's not just for, oh God, I'm getting me fucking rolling. Dude.
I'm good.
It's the same shit with the women. Like, this is gonna sound like a fucking, like a white man rant. I don't want it to sound like that.
Do it.
Do it. It's like the kind of like women in the workplace shit. It's like we want equality until it's like, oh, we have to go fight and die in the war now. You know?
Did I send you the link to the article about unfairness in the workplace, like debunked and faced off in reality, blah, blah, blah?
No, you never sent that to me, but my sister, who works at a pretty fucking huge corporation, discusses how she thinks that it's pretty vastly unfair in terms of what the guys are allowed to do and what they get.
This article was crazy. I'll try to find it. So this woman and her husband are both graduates of Harvard Law School. And it flat out says he works 80 hours a week and is willing to work 80 hours a week. And one of the reasons that he does work 80 hours a week is because if you are, so he's, a partner at a high-powered law firm, and for clients, you have to make yourself available literally 24/7. And this guy's on call all the time, Saturday night, Sunday night, and it happens. His phone will ring, and a client will have a need, and off he goes.
Yeah.
I don't believe 80 hours a week. Nobody works 80 hours a week. But anyway, the guy's working all the fucking time. All the time. Nobody works 16 hours a day. It's impossible. The math doesn't. It's just, anyway.
No, I work
another
more than
conversation.
5 days a week.
No, yeah. So there's people who work shitloads of hours. And she's like, and I'm not willing to do that because I want to be a mom and I want a better work-life balance and blah, blah, blah. And as such, I'll never make partner. And I'm like, well, wait a minute.
You're making a fucking choice.
Right.
You're deciding that in your own head.
You just said, I don't want to work as many hours.
Right. I don't
want to be on call 24/7. I don't want to work more. And she said, I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week, and this is unfair. Well, wait a minute. He's willing to provide a service that you are not. As such, he's compensated for it. Apples and fucking oranges.
It's not right. It's a fucking you're talking like fruit and that's vegetable. It's completely
but
different.
I mean, this
right.
was laid out so clearly that he was willing to provide a service and make himself available and work hours
saying, I don't
and
want
offer a level of productivity that she was unwilling to work.
Right.
And that it didn't make sense to her that he should make so much more money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just said it. It's like, if you get paid by the hour, going to McDonald's, hey, the guy who's working 60 hours a week, he makes twice as much money as me. But I can only work 30 hours a week because I'm a gamer. And I like to fucking get home and play my game and smoke pot.
Because I need to nurse my video game babies. Right. It's the same fucking thing. It could be any reason at all.
Yes.
And in the eyes of a businessman, or let's just say a rational consumer, right, of labor, they'd be like, I don't give a fuck what the reason is. I care about the actual production. So you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want the guy who's going to put up the numbers, not the guy that isn't going to put up the number. I don't know how fucking hard it is.
It gets back to the slice of capitalism being fair and efficient. So I want more from you. I will pay more. And it wasn't a gender thing at all, other than if you attach like having
the
babies
natural
to gender, which is just undeniably, as much as I'm not terribly in favor of this saying, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You want to have a baby, you want to take time off, and on and on. It's going to affect how much you get paid.
Yeah. Or you could also pay someone to, if you like, but see, there you go. You're already saying, you're already saying you don't want to work that much because you want to take care of whatever. But if, then you got to pay someone to take care of your kids if you want to work that much. So it's like a give and take.
And then you're saying, yeah, but then I want to breastfeed for 12 months and I want to be close to the baby and I want to have the bonding and
part of
all
that's
that
like
stuff.
natural and good.
I can't, but to your point, then you're saying, well, if I hire somebody and do the career path, then I don't get to do that. You are exactly right. Life's about fucking choices,
Ding, 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 ding.
right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make partner, you do the 80 hours or whatever it is. You do the 24/7, or you don't. Life's about choices.
Yeah.
It's not about entitlements, man. It's not about entitlements.
No, what you're saying is the same thing as socialism. I want it because that guy, because you're you're basically saying my own choices shouldn't affect my outcome. It's like I should just get it because it exists.
Right.
Yeah. That's what you were saying earlier. Yeah.
If you
About
read the article, you'd be floored because it was even more poignant than the way I laid it out. It was like, what is not obvious to you?
It's like, oh God, fuck. And that's a for me, that's like a tales all this time. I've been hearing people say that for a few years now. It's like, I have to take, I want to whatever take care of. And it's like you realize that there is a value exchange there that no one's putting a gun to your head and making you pick one of them. It's something that you came up with in your head. It wasn't forced upon you by chance.
So think about this. I got this chair thing going on, right?
Yeah.
So aging for
what?
me. Aging, right. I hide it. I'm hidden behind a pool table.
Right, FDR.
It's crafty. Lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
So I'm going to retire earlier because my golden years are going to whatever. My difficulty aging is going to taper off earlier than most other people. Is that my employer's problem?
No.
So if I don't know if it's 5 years or 10 years or 5 months or 5 decades, but if I say I'm retiring early, and because I have this situation,
I should get paid more money.
I should get
within a
paid
smaller
more,
amount of
or
time.
you should pay me for 5 years after I retire because of this problem I created for myself by breaking my fucking neck.
Doing something that I loved.
Right.
Yeah.
But my own behavior.
Right.
I made a choice.
Yeah.
I got hurt. Right. And my employer or somebody should subsidize me. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will say something like when you actually phrase it like that, you could come dangerously close to someone who doesn't think it through to being like, you know what, actually, yeah, they should have to pay you for that. It's like, oh, well, it's kind of an unfair disability in the workplace because you have to retire earlier. It's like,
sadly, you're totally right.
yeah, that's what, someone could jump the gap, and I just fucking hate
They're
that.
like, dude, stand up for yourself. You should. No. I have service to offer.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm providing those services. I'm getting paid fairly for them. And it is what it is. And when I choose not to provide them, then I've taken myself out of the market and I get zero.
Yeah.
0 services rendered, 0 money accumulated.
All right.
It's all about choices. I want to quit and have a baby. I want to quit because I have a spinal cord injury and not work past 55 or 60. Whatever. It's about fucking choices. And guess what? What's harder? What's harsher? What's more... well, let's just leave it at that. Breaking your fucking neck and getting robbed of years off your life, or wanting to have a baby?
I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm sure that you guys know.
I think it's pretty
what
fucking
the fuck
obvious.
it is.
And you know what I'm saying? Supply and demand, man. When I take my hours off the market, I get nothing.
Yeah.
Go have a baby, you take your hours off the market, I'm sorry, you get nothing. It makes no sense.
Right. It's an exchange of fucking value. And all you're doing in the workplace, all you are is a seller of labor. That's what you do. You sell your man hours for money. And if you want to fucking do all these things, good on you if you negotiate it in advance. That's what the market is. So go and figure that shit out with your boss before you do it. That way it's in the contract.
That is so exactly right.
Do it.
Astute. Yeah. For sure. Yep. Make the deal beforehand.
Right. You are the captain of your terms of employment. Because no one ever is going to fucking, except for, the army. No one's ever going to put a gun to your head and say work, right?
Until you're flying without a net, and then if you hit the pavement, fucking your problem.
Yeah.
Because you didn't set up your net.
And then I'm going to be here saying, I told you so, because you watched that episode on the 26th of October.
That's right, because we'll still be fucking doing this in 20 years.
Goddamn right.
Because guess what? You know what? TV's going to go away to this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Internet is the whole new thing.
Broadcast radio, television, this. We're getting our foot in on the ground floor of the way it's going to be.
I can't tell you the last time I used my TV to watch, like, a TV show. It wasn't like Netflix, or something, or YouTube.
Wait a minute. You're not watching... Yeah. Sorry. You're not watching football? How can you not watch football? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well,
you grew up in Metro Detroit. Well, my God. Matthew Stafford's poised to have a great game tomorrow. You fucking ingrate.
I'm the ingrate. Right. That makes sense. I was told it was because I didn't appeal to the middle class, something like that. My buddies at work all told me that was the reason.
Blowback?
Yeah, they were like, you don't fucking know because you never had to work for anything in your life or fight for anything in your life. And even though that's not true, like that I've never had any hardship, I would say that because you've had hardship makes you fucking this special.
Okay,
Zero.
Stop.
What?
You're giving him a fucking inch of rope that's turning into a mile. Say, what's your hardship? I had a nicer car than you?
Yeah.
My graduation party had better catering than you? We all fucking live so far beyond what is...
Where you sleep at night?
Well, no, what is so far beyond the way the rest of the world lives that the bandwidth in terms of the difference between the way they grew up and the way you grew up, when you talk about like worrying about fucking surviving with food and water, goes down to this.
Yeah.
Like you can't, there's nothing there.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're a pussy. How about that? If I'm a pussy, then so are fucking you. No one's ever threatened to cut our arms off.
Right.
Kill our village.
Right. You came home to a fucking fridge full. No, look at me. Because have your fucking guys. And you know what? If you want to know about difficulty, come spend a day with me. But come the fuck over here and tell me you didn't have a fridge full of food. You couldn't get from point A to point B because of, your mom or your dad would take you there. So you didn't have a fucking limousine, as Charlie did not. But tell me you really and truly had it hard. So we had a nicer house and a little more stuff. And you know what you wanted for in your life? Fucking nothing. Just like him. So the relative scale is so fucking finite if you understand what that means. And if you don't, start listening to people. That it isn't even measurable. The way you live, if you're middle class or above in the United States of America, is so fucking privileged that you got to look at that. And it goes back to my point. Stop worrying about what other people have and worry about what you have. And if you don't like it, fucking change it. Look down at your bootstraps. And you know what? I've even conceded. Some people don't have boots, so there aren't bootstraps. But it's not the guys that you're talking about at work who said you have it so fucking easy. Because you know how different your lives are from those guys? Very little. So you had a pool. Ooh, I didn't have a fucking pool. Really? That made a difference in your life? So maybe their parents shopped at Whole Foods in addition to Kroger. So they had maybe a little bit nicer food in the fucking fridge. Were you fucking hungry? No. So guess what I say to that, you guys? Come here, get on the podcast, and deal with me. And if you don't have the balls to fucking do that, fuck you and shut up. Because you didn't have it hard.
Oh, God. That was gorgeous. That was a rant.
Sorry, I can't fucking stand it.
No, that was
when
good.
People are clueless and they don't understand subjectivity and just fucking minuscule bullshit. And it goes back to what I opened up with is people are worried about what other people have, not what you don't have. Tell me what you didn't have. What did you not have that really fucking mattered? So Charlie skied and you played football. Big deal. Who fucking cares?
That's one of the things.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
You're a skier.
I'm not fucking
I was a football player. You know what? You should. If you had any stones, you'd be proud of that. You wouldn't be angry at Charlie. You'd feel sorry for him because you'd be like, I played football and I was part of a team and I learned stuff and I feel bad because you skied and you missed out. You're so clueless.
I don't
You're
even
so
think that that's
fucking
true.
clueless. I do.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't feel bad for you, but playing football is kind of neat because you go to battle with a bunch of guys. And guess what? I played on the line, and if you're a running back, you got 5+ guys blocking for you. And I was a grunt, man. I was a fucking grunt, and that was fine. And if I missed my block, a guy would come in and he would tackle the running back behind the line of scrimmage. And that mattered. I had a job where other people depended upon me.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of neat.
That's
right?
cool. I never thought about that, I guess.
And
Yeah.
I skied in college. I don't know if
Right.
you know this. I skied in college, and that was fun too. Very different things. But I learned a lot in football. Our coaches always taught, one of them was a drill sergeant in the Army. And one of them always talked about, who do you want in a foxhole next to you?
Yeah.
And be the guy that this team wants in a foxhole next to you. They equated it to the military. They equated it to all these different things that were life lessons. And these guys were teaching us life lessons, and it was pretty neat. And I still think back. I think back on the speeches I got in football and in wrestling about who do you want to be in a foxhole with? And I still draw on that. I mean, to this day, 35 years later or whatever it is, I still draw on that, and I think it's pretty cool. And it's not like, you missed out on something huge, but I think football and sports that are a little more kind of struggle-oriented and team-dependent, I think they teach you something.
Yeah. The only real team sport that I ever played was baseball.
But think about this. What if you were the number one skier on the number one team in the number one state in the whole country?
It's an individual thing.
Yep. No. It's not, actually. So every year you guys win it, and you're the number one skier. And you show up, and I don't know, you stayed up late the night before. For some reason, you didn't ski your best, and it's totally your fault.
Yeah.
And you lost the city meet, you lost regionals, you lost whatever, and it's your fault. You're going to feel bad. And all of a sudden then, the team thing kind of comes into it.
Well,
So one thing that's individual but team-oriented was wrestling, and I wrestled. And I actually hated wrestling, but I did it because you got, pressured into it by the football coach.
There you go. That's funny. It was you didn't want to let him down.
But you're out on the mat alone. But at the end of the day, all the points add up, and you win or you lose versus a different school.
Based on
skiing's the same way.
Well, yeah, that's true until you go to qualifying for regionals and shit like that in states.
Right,
But,
and then individuals kind of ascend and detach based upon individual ability.
Right,
but that's
right.
okay.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I never did the whole go to battle thing. Baseball was really the only one that I played where we're all on a team.
Yeah, football's kind of unique because if you're on the line and you miss a block, the running back, there's a good chance he's getting tackled. If you make there are few plays in baseball, and you could argue this with me, but there's few plays where it's not really one guy, right? The first baseman, he catches the ball if you get reasonably close to him. So if the third baseman or the shortstop makes an awesome play to second or first, and it's a great out or a double play, that was because of his individual effort. Football's unique. So, but that said, so guys, football, I'm a football guy. I played football in high school. I relate. But in terms of belly aching about Charlie having more,
haves and have-nots.
What do you have more of? He had more food, so you didn't have enough food? You went hungry when you came home? No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. Charlie had a car and you didn't? Que sera, sera. Did it really fuck up your life?
Because we got the same job now.
Yeah, there you go.
I say that all the time.
Charlie, poor fucking guy. He's working with a bunch of middle class motherfuckers.
Some stupid, poor fucking idiots. No.
Wow. Okay.
And I like you guys. How's that? No, I'm just.
Despite the fact you're stupid, poor fucking idiots. But anyway.
Well, I'd say that to their face all the time. But.
Okay.
Yeah.
But really, what's different? You guys all went out. You drank beer with your buddies. You had plenty to eat. You had plenty to do. You wanted for nothing, right? So Charlie's house had a TV or more, a room or more.
And a pool that we didn't use.
And a pool you didn't use. So honestly, seriously, guys, look yourself in the mirror. And after this, if you really, really think it's that much different, you're a fucking idiot. You really are. Because guess what? In America, if you're middle class or above, we are living large.
95% of the 95% income of the world. That's or wealth of the world, right?
Yeah, and this has come up before, and I don't know if you remember this, but so if you're a 1%er within the confines of the continental United States, you make a household income of 450 grand. And I asked you this before, and you didn't remember, so I won't do it to you again. But to be a 1%er in the whole fucking world, your household income needs to be $32,000 a year.
I was going to say.
And the average household income in the United States is either $47,000 or $49,000. Median, actually, not average, right? Because we got outliers. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so if you make 40 grand in a year, right?
And again, I'll remind everybody. So, the median, actually, I don't remember which it is, but pick one of the two, household that is living at or below poverty has 2 televisions.
Oh, yeah. A gaming system.
1 modern gaming system. Access to either internet or high-speed gaming, like data download. No, I forgot. I think 1 car. Air conditioning. Air conditioning is a huge one.
Yeah.
Right? Because I grew up without air conditioning. We got an attic fan when I was maybe 14 years old, and that was a big deal because you didn't sleep in the heat.
We still use the attic fan. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's efficient.
Open the windows and just...
Yeah. So anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Have we thoroughly covered Trump and lynching?
Yeah, sure. And you fought my battles for me, so there's another. So 2 checks today.
It's not your battle, man. It's about peeling back the onion.
There you go. That's a good point. Yeah.
And what do we say this show is ultimately about?
Finding the truth.
Finding the truth, man.
Yeah.
Uncovering the truth. And the truth is, you know what, guys? You had it fucking easy. You had it fucking easy.
To me, it comes down to the loss of life or limb thing. But yeah, in terms of world wealth.
Or starving to fucking death.
Right. Or fucking
or drinking water that's
gonna kill you. Yeah.
Right. That's tainted with bacteria.
Like this.
Yeah. So guys, and the other thing is, you're 30 years old. Grow up. Grow up. It's now up to you. So, fucking make something of yourself or don't. And if you're a man, which I would think you would argue all day long, I'm a man, and stop worrying about his childhood and your childhood and fucking do something with yourself. You're amused and you're satisfied by this, but I'm dead fucking serious.
I know you're serious.
Because I can't stand people like this. I'm quadriplegic. I'm quadri-fucking-pelegic. And I don't complain about it. It is what it is. I fucking broke my neck because I was a risk taker. I made my own bed. I fucking lie in it. And I live my life every day. And I do not feel sorry for... It's rare that I feel sorry for myself. I fucking grab my bootstraps and I make the best of it. Do the fucking same.
Right.
Or check out and lay the pussy card right now. Pick one.
Yeah. For me, it's the false sanctimony. It's just like fucking...
So you just lost him all there. But his point is hiding behind something that's bullshit, which I think I've debunked.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And if you don't get it, if you're like, well, you're another fucking rich kid. I didn't grow up with the shit Charlie had, but I did grow up with plenty. I got a brand new car on my 16th birthday. Not a lot of people get that.
I didn't get that.
He didn't get it. So it's
Fuck
funny.
you.
It's funny, you know.
You had a better life.
I was coming home from, I work in Rochester Hills most Tuesdays. I was coming home and I drove through my old neighborhood, and I'll put it up next week. I took a picture of the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
It's just such a solid, straight, middle class house.
Like all houses around here. But, I mean,
Except for yours, you rich fuck.
You know, it's funny. If you want to, I can't share too much, but if you want to value my house, like an accurate value of my house, the appraisal process goes in with pricing it with comparables, and there isn't any within a reasonable
Well, it's
distance.
funny. I had the same problem.
There isn't one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you know the reason?
It's because it has all these additions.
Yeah, because it has a huge fucking addition. I have an addition that increases my square footage by 50%.
Oh, wow.
So I have 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, and there's no comp in this neighborhood to pull my value up to what it should be.
Yeah.
I've gotten hosed on 2 refis
Wow.
because it doesn't appraise out.
Just because you can't even.
Because every sub, so I live in your kind of standard mid-late 50s ranch subdivision that is around 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, and the guy added on 500, 600 square feet, whatever, added a bathroom, and what the hell was the point? Oh, so you do these additions, and then you're kind of an outlier in terms of square footage and bathrooms and all that shit.
Right, because it's based on the sales of comps, whatever, comparable houses within the past recent, few
Yeah,
years.
so I got hosed. So if you literally transplanted my house into your neighborhood, it would probably be worth $100,000 more. Just because there's something to compare it to.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? I don't give a fuck.
It couldn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter, man.
Because it's also
I
impossible.
like my house. I don't plan on moving, and it's all on paper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And when it comes time to sell this house, should I so choose, I'll negotiate that with the guy who's buying it. I'll be like, dude,
Yeah.
there aren't 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom houses in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that's what you're buying. If you don't want to pay my price, see you later.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm no victim.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Wait, where did we leave off? There was something I wanted to say.
Well, I asked you about Trump, and you said, yeah, we're good on that.
No, it was with the other thing. The money thing.
Don't know. And guess what? Charlie's not rich.
Yeah, I say that all the time too, but it's all and it just
His
never.
parents
People
are.
just don't ever care. It's not like it's my fucking money, you idiots.
Well, that gets back to the point. You're worried about what others should have. You don't worry about your own fucking problems and do something about it.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
be a man. Be a man, or don't.
I'll say this right now, and if you guys are listening, you guys are my friends regardless. But here's what's distasteful about the way that you act is that you don't understand money, so it's some big special thing to you, and it's like that to me is kind of like a disgusting personal quality. And I'm saying that to you guys as my friends, but when you say all this shit about it to me, you're really just playing your hand. I don't know. And that's like revealing and gross, but whatever.
So Charlie's dad is one of my best friends. And I remember their starter house was 6 or 8 houses down from my parents' retirement, like built it on their own dream house. And guess what? Nobody gave Charlie's dad a dime.
Yeah.
A fucking dime. And I remember him telling me, I'm sure he's told you the same thing, you got to pay yourself before you pay anybody else. And it took me 10 years to figure that out.
The thing is, it's you put on your own mask before you put on your buddy's mask. It's like take care of yourself. In the event of an emergency, put on your own air mask, oxygen mask before you put on the guy next to you's oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we are. So, yeah, this largely plays into it. And I didn't have anything to eat today, so that tequila really hit me bam.
There's some Doritos in there.
Bam, yeah.
He said, "Bam!" That's why you're lighting a fire under all these guys.
Really kind of ready for another one just to go into oblivious land. But
Oblivious land. That could be fun.
But again, a lot of what I wanted to talk about today, and it has totally transformed into this, is people worrying about not what they have and or need and or want, but what somebody above them has, and how somehow there's an inequitability there that needs addressing. So you know what? Fuck you. You know the way you address it? Work hard, work smart, and make the fucking money.
And don't make a fucking emotional call on that. Just use it as information. I don't know why there has to be some kind of a judgment there. You know, it's just details. This is my life. I'm a fucking computer. I get ones and zeros all day long, and that's just another fucking combination, right? It's like I use that to analyze something. Don't compare yourself. This is Jordan Peterson's one of his 12 rules for life. Don't compare yourself to somebody else today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, right? There
Absolutely.
you go. Yeah. Because you can't. The situations are different. I don't know. They're all unique.
Yeah, if
Infinitely different.
Right. Absolutely. If you want to go cherry picking shit that supports an argument that's bullshit anyway, it's so easy to do. But you know who that's for? Weak people.
What? You said white people?
Weak people.
Weak people, yeah.
And white people, I guess.
Brad.
We're not supposed to use names.
Sorry, I just couldn't fucking resist. He's going to like that.
Are we going to have the guy from the east side of the state?
That's him.
Oh.
Yeah. He's the guy.
Dude, you intrigue me. You got to come here and
wow.
We'll be nice.
Intrigues you. It's just because he's stupid and doesn't have a personality.
Yikes. You said you liked this guy. I saw a picture
I do
of him.
like
He
him.
looked kind of uppity.
I do like him. Yeah. He's a good dude.
Come on, man. I'm very curious about what you think. And I honestly have no idea what it is.
Neither do I.
I have my
don't even know.
suspicions, but whatever.
Yeah. We'll just bullshit and then we'll get to the truth.
We brought Noah on. And the guy changed his stance so freaking much that I wound up agreeing with 75% of what he said.
You're like, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, wait a second. What? No, slow down.
Where's my communist?
Yeah.
Where's my communist?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's kind of how.
Oh, I'm not a communist anymore.
Oh, you're a libertarian socialist, which is, we got to the bottom of that,
I think
too.
he said socialist democrat. Oh, no, he did say libertarian
socialism, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, that's like an oxymoron.
That might be more dangerous.
Right. You're inventing shit here.
Well, and I'm a sheep's and wolf clothing, or a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Right, yeah, which I would say that most any fucking that side of most politicians
But
are
you know,
anyway, but.
you know where there's some serious irony, and I don't think we've talked about this, is we indirectly talked about it with regard to Greta Thunberg. Thunberg. You know, in 10 years, she's well-spoken, despite any spectrum.
She's probably super
shit.
smart. She
probably is super smart. She's comfortable in front of a microphone. She has wealthy parents. She lives in a good part of the world. And in 10 years, she's going to be doing something that matters. And if you remember, I said, you know what? So if she keeps following her, you remember what I said, don't
No,
you?
I almost said something horrible, but whatever. Go ahead.
So if she follows in her path, she's going to go to college. She's going to get her degree. She's going to go get a PhD in like environmental applied science. And then she's going to start doing research, and she's going to start cranking out papers and research and data. And then people who are just like the fucking socially motivated, who are part of frickin' intersexual Freudian slip there, right? Intersectional bullshit identity politics will want nothing to do with her, because she's going to say, I've devoted the last 10 years on this. All this data here supports your argument. And they're going to be like, but that's not emotional, so that doesn't help us.
Go away. Yeah. Like, but I worked all this hard to make the details. It's like, no, we want someone who was you 10 years ago. Sorry.
Right. Exactly. Move on.
Who's someone who was...
You dumbass scientist.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. We don't need your science.
You and your PhD data. Get the fuck out.
This isn't going to change anyone's mind. Right.
Anyway.
Ain't that the truth?
I wonder if they'll sell the boat back to the Prince of Monaco.
No chance. They probably just burn it. They're done. Because they're so rich. And wouldn't that be nice if I could just buy a boat from the Prince of Monaco?
Right.
My life is fucking hard because I can't do that.
You fucking poor son of a bitch. Die, run-of-the-mill son of a bitch.
I love that. Yes. Die, run-of-the-mill son of a bitch.
David R. Johnson. Things are going to start happening to me now. Your name in print. Anyway, do you remember what your point was?
Wait, about
there was something specific to. I don't remember.
Haves and have-nots.
Don't know.
Is that what I was talking about?
That's pretty fucking subjective as it is.
Did we go back to it or did we move forward? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
He's drunk.
I have a little buzz. More than usual on the same amount.
He said, I don't know.
And I'm relaxed.
There you go. That's the best part. That's why I felt so comfortable yelling at my work friends.
In a good way.
Yeah.
No, I was yelling at those people.
No, but that's everybody I've ever fucking, not even this job, my old job, it was the same shit. And those people were like actually poor people. Like a lot of them were like.
You know what? Here's something interesting. How did they ferret out this information?
I don't know. I guess I just come off that way. Whatever. My clothes probably gives it away, you know, shit like that. They say that you can, we've talked about this on the show. They say that 80% of people can guess whether or not you're wealthy or poor just by looking at you. But
yeah, but most of the people you're talking about aren't that smart.
I don't know if smart has anything to do with it. I think you can have instincts without being an intelligent person.
I don't know. Drawing a conclusion, an accurate conclusion between money versus just kind of being an arrogant douchebag requires some cerebral power. The people who don't get it would just say he's an asshole.
And there are people like that too, but I don't fucking.
I've run into that all my life.
Yeah, I don't bother with that. You just fucking go kill yourself. I have no.
Ouch.
Yeah, there's no room for you in my life. Yeah.
So, one thing, which gets back to people worrying about what other people have and don't have. I kind of talked about this last time. Is somebody I would like to champion is the person who just wants to be a good person instead of the sidelines of all this bullshit.
You mean like an out of action altruist?
Yeah. So there's a show I want you to see, and it's only on my DVR in the back bedroom about, did I tell you about this guy? Yeah, I know I did. There's a guy, and he's got a PhD in his own invented subject, which is really interesting, right?
How to jerk off with my own hands.
Might as well be that. So he's a black guy, and now I lost exactly what my point was, but his position was and is that it's not enough to not be racist.
Oh yeah, you have to be anti-racist.
You have to be anti-racist.
Yeah, fuck you. I don't.
Right. So I played rewound, and went through this. So the hour show took me probably 3 hours to get through. As I wish I had been able to argue with this guy real time, and I didn't even argue with him at all. I just did it on my own time in my bedroom, as I do all the time.
It's good practice.
Which was it was the catalyst for all this.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the argument is, my response to him would have been, if I'm not, so I need to be an activist for racial stuff or I'm racist. But are you an activist for shit for disabled people? Because if not,
all the stuff that
if
goes on?
not, you hate me. Or at least you're not doing what I'm due.
Yeah.
Or if I'm not an activist for women's rights, I'm a misogynist.
Or for bratty, spoiled rich kids who get made fun of.
Whatever it is, fucking pick one.
Yeah.
And what this guy was doing was saying, you have to champion my cause and make all other causes secondary. And that's so fucking arrogant and selfish.
Or you're expecting me to be a fucking champion of all those causes, which is humanly possible.
He didn't even get close to going there.
Well, no, I'm saying you could make a leap. You know, he's not necessarily excluding one or the other, but he might be implying that being for the good is different than being opposed to the evil.
You're giving him
Too much. I'm just saying there's a jump there, and he might have not explicitly said that, but you could follow a path of logic there.
He would not have wanted to go there.
So
This
So
guy
he's selfish.
He's selfish.
Wait, so good for him. That's okay with me. If you can manipulate others into fighting for your cause.
So this is a similar thing because it was BBC and it was this morning. So there was some women's group, and I said that with the wrong tone.
I'm just joking.
But, well, I don't know. If there were a club that were a bunch of men, let's say you have to be 50, you have to be a man, and you have to be white. And it's out there. Public outrage, fucking fury, right?
They got rid of that shit, I thought.
Yeah,
Right.
right. That's highly inappropriate.
Just can't exist.
But this was a women's club.
Okay.
And the whole guest audience appeared to be white and didn't appear to be lacking in nutrition or clothing or whatever. Anyway, she was going on about how we need to gentrify is not the right word, but take certain neighborhoods, and she wants to, and she used the words disabled. So now, like, I can speak from a fuck you, you don't talk
For me.
for me, and you're an idiot because you didn't ask me what I might need. But anyway, she's like, we need to create neighborhoods
That are
substantive in size. And she's like, no cars, no trucks. It'll be pedestrian traffic. We'll allow bicycles. And that's where things really need to go. And we need no competition, which is like socialism to an extreme.
you're asking to be God if you want no competition. You're like, and we need to be omnipotent.
Right.
And,
And I'm going to decide what's needed and what's not needed. So I thought about this. So I thought, all right, so you have a panel, you have a round table, and you get a bunch of people around. So no cars, no trucks. What if somebody wants something? Well, what do you mean? I don't know. It's not offered in the store, and I want to buy something, say, on Amazon and have it right there.
Yeah.
You want to order something off Amazon and have it delivered by a truck? All the more reason we don't want trucks.
what about a drone, Chris? You ever think of that?
Here's where I went. Okay. So no Amazon, no trucks. Okay. We've checked that box. We've done our due diligence on why we don't need trucks, because we don't want people ordering off Amazon. What happens when a house catches on fire? What happens when somebody has a heart attack? What happens when somebody cuts their fucking finger off and they're bleeding to death? Guess what? We have systems in place that have evolved over centuries for all these things, and you think you're so fucking smart. And guess what? The first time somebody has a heart attack and dies, you fucked up.
Yeah, and it's on
Because
your
you
hands.
know everything.
Yeah.
We need pedestrians and bicycles. And she said, and, we don't need all these cars because we're doing what's best for this group, that. And she ended it with, and even the disabled. Guess what I need? I push around a fucking wheelchair. You know how hard it is to go a mile?
Oh, yeah.
It's a bitch. Because streets and sidewalks, they're not level this way.
You're going...
and they're not level this way, and it's a ton of fucking work. So,
and at least one of those ways you're going, I was uphill.
yeah. You know what I need? Access to a fucking car. You dumbass. She said, yeah, it'll be better for the disabled. Really? Really, really, really? Without a car?
What is this?
I was going to record it, and it was so fucking frustrating that I'm like, I'm never going to watch this again. But
It was on TV?
It was on BBC.
I need to look. I will. That is something that I will actively protest. And I've never fought anything in my life like that. This is the first kind of public fighting I've ever done. That is fucking retarded. And that woman should be not necessarily institutionalized. But when you're telling this group of people this stuff, that's reprehensible. Because they're going to fucking follow you.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she right. So she and a few others had the podium. And again, that's where I really, really get pissed off.
No cars, no
and like Hollywood in particular. You have a microphone. People just presume that you know what you're talking about. And with an audience and a microphone, a big audience, let's say like the Academy Awards, that have turned into a frickin' political debacle, you have responsibility to know what you're talking about when you bring stuff up. Like AOC, right? First few months, the Green New Deal. In 10 years, I want commercial airplane travel to be completely gone.
Right. All existing commercial buildings renovated.
One, why?
Yeah.
And two, how are you going to fucking supplement And I don't even know what all the statistics are in terms of, human traffic that needs to go back and forth. And then commercial traffic in terms of products and whatever else that might be in the belly of a FedEx plane or what have you that are necessary that require plane flights.
Yeah.
No answers, right? Let's just fucking line up a bunch of stuff that sounds good to eliminate and just presume we're right and it's a good idea.
Somebody did the math though when this first came out. Do you remember what the number was? How much it would cost?
No.
If you had to guess.
How much it would cost to implement
Everything.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Trillions.
90 trillion. $90.3 trillion, they said.
Okay.
And I'm like, first of all, how do you get that number? But then again, if it's already above 90 trillion, it might as well be fucking...
You're doing this, but whatever. You got to pick a number.
Yeah, right. If it's 100 trillion, how much is that different from 90 trillion?
If it's 40 or if it's 100, whatever. So.
Right. You got to go somewhere with it. But to me, that was very... The thing I was talking about, like, you don't understand money. It doesn't even matter to you. It almost means nothing.
Well...
And that's a different point, but...
When she was on 60 Minutes with... who's the kind of blondie, silver-haired guy who does...
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper. He said, how would you pay for it? And she goes, well, I would pay for it with the same money that Trump's using to build the Space Force.
Cash or check.
But that was her answer.
Wow.
I would use the same... What money is that? Trump's just talking out of his ass, just like you are.
I'll join the Space Force, by the way.
But, right, you remember Trump said that a year or two ago?
Yeah.
I'll use the same money he's going to use for the Space Force.
So you haven't sourced this money yet or even located a source of revenue, and you're just going to basically hope that this guy starts this thing, that it fails, and the money is just going to stay in the coffers until you get to your fucking thing?
I'm going to use the money that's going to fund his fairy tale to fund my fairy tale. That's what she said. And if she had used that language, people would be like, oh my God.
Fairy tale money.
You're living in a dream world. Right? So Trump said something that, right? And when's the last time we heard about Space Force?
Oh, a long time. But everyone, I love when that first came out, everybody's like, I'll fucking join Space Force. That'd be sweet.
Do I get to wear one of those cool white suits with the white helmet?
I just want a blaster. That'd be awesome.
Cool. I'll take a lightsaber.
Saber?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, fantasy money. I like that. Yeah. His fucking fantasy to my fantasy. If she did say that, there'd be people watching, and right until that point, they'd be going like this, right? They're like, yeah, woo! Wait, what?
Right.
What was that?
That's my point.
Right. Yeah, wait, what did you just say? God, yeah, it'd be like, hang on. Oh my God. Wow. All right.
Right. That's such a non-answer.
Right.
I'm going to use this imaginary money to fund my imaginary project with imaginary money.
My favorite thing is Tucker Carlson and in like Fox News, they call it it's called the Green New Deal. They call it the Green New Delusion.
Well, when's the last time they even brought it up? It's kind of gone, right?
I just saw it the other day on Fox
Really?
News article, some dumb shit, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like her. She's good for news.
She hasn't been around in a while.
No, it's just kind of keeping her head down. Maybe her PR person, like, kind of batting down the hatches. They're like, all right,
Or Nancy Pelosi said, you are too fucking
Stay
out there.
Out of the news. Yeah.
We're trying to get something done.
Yes, squad is dead, right? Like, you stay off the fucking news. Don't tweet. She tweeted some shit about, like, not knowing what a garbage disposal was in her sink.
Like to say I'm poor and have been denied? Or?
It seemed like that, but I don't know. And she might have also been joking, but it was either a bad joke that she fucked up and so it didn't come across like that, or she was trying to appeal to, like, poor people, like, what's garbage disposal, or she's retarded. So those are our choices.
It's probably some mixture thereof.
I like the retarded one, but I don't know.
She's not stupid in terms of raw intellect. She's just...
have you ever... I don't know. Have you watched some of those hearings?
I have.
I think there's a lot of stupidity going around that brain.
There's ignorance. I think. Again, raw intellect, raw brain processing power. I think she's reasonably smart. I think she's just also totally clueless.
Okay. Yeah. She comes off as stupid to me. Not she to me comes off as actually having the knowledge, but just being like not being able to connect the dots, which is stupidity in terms of the other way around, which is ignorance.
Well, that's why I qualified it as raw brain
right,
computing power.
Yeah.
So if she's alone in a room, I think she's pretty smart. And get her out there and in the real world and, experience. Experience is a lot of it, too.
Yeah.
She's young.
And she's pretty. So I guess, you know what? I will change my answer. You are smart. I think you're very smart.
Just in case you cross paths.
I think you're the smartest person in the world. You have great ideas.
You cutie, you. She's got a boyfriend. Or maybe even a fiance.
Oh, she does?
I think so.
Not for long. It won't last.
All right. You going to run into her tonight?
We'll see. I'll make it happen. No. Yeah, I'm supposed to go to some Halloween thing.
Do it.
I don't like dressing up.
Make it throw a cowboy hat on. You can borrow my cowboy hat.
I have. Oh, you do? You have like a real good
I have
one?
a cool one. Yeah. It's black.
I want to see that. I might take you up on that because that's cool.
Who are you? Black Bart? Black Chuck?
Black Chuck. Yeah, I'm black. Yeah, see, I was going to go with pirate stuff. But it's like a cowboy. It'd be like Dirty Chucky. Dirty Harry.
There you go.
Dirty Chucky.
How are we on time?
It's 6:30. 6:25.
And we started at
5:15, 5:20. Are you done?
I'm not done.
Did you run out of steam?
I'm just wondering. I don't know if we've been talking about 30 minutes or 90 minutes.
I think it's been about an hour.
Okay.
Probably an hour and
No,
10
I'm
minutes.
not out of steam at all.
All right, then let's continue. I never got to finish my point, by the way, about the language thing.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying, if you can remember, and whatever, just to give a brief synopsis, I was saying about my white trash point.
Wow.
I have to refrain from saying that sometimes, not because the word not because I'm preparing to hurl it as an insult to someone that I'm seeing, but because it's a great way to describe somebody. It's a descriptor. It has qualities, and they're kind of whatever, as much as they might be poor qualities and things you might not want to say. It's a good way to describe somebody in a pinch. You're like, it's a kind of a fully encompassing term. And as much as that might sound autistic and like what fucking weird, it does make sense. You're like,
No. I'm laughing because it's totally true and accurate.
yeah, it's this completely utilitarian use of the word white, or the phrase white trash. You're going to say that. Like, they're kind of like, whatever, white trash. You can even say it like, a bunch of my buddies are like, yeah, I like white trash girls. They're hot. I don't know. I'm like, okay, cool.
And they're easy.
True. Right. And that's kind of one of the things that is encompassed by that phrase or that term, white trash. So just because you're using a term doesn't necessarily mean you're drawing from the context of its dark past, but just because it might be the perfect term as a descriptor. And I don't think that Trump was trying to play on the negative shit. He might have just been like, this is the perfect way to describe this.
Yeah, the whole reason, though, that term has power is because of the fucked up shit that it represents.
Yeah.
And I believe that's a fact. If it weren't such an ugly part of some really, really ugly shit that happened, people wouldn't even say it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you ever seen there was a noose on the news that was like placed over some branch in effigy, and if you legitimately have parents, grandparents, ultimately descend from slavery, and you have genuine stories that were handed down, and they're embellished as little as possible, you see that shit, and it's going to evoke real and bad emotion, legitimately. So that shit that just has to die on the vine. It's an ugly part of our past, and the word lynch, it legitimately has ugly connotations.
I know that it does, but it's my point is, like I said, whatever, this term is going to sound whatever, but utilitarian usage of the word and not necessarily an emotional connection to it, because that is when you let the fucking emotion take over, you lose the utility of it.
Yeah, you know
Even
what,
though
though?
there's truth to that history.
Our language is sufficient in words that you can get there lots of other ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay. Let's see what else we use. Let's go right now. Rapid fire. This is
Remind me of exactly what he said. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, which you could argue was ugly in a much less manner in terms of scope, would be witch hunt. Still, right?
But witch hunt is like,
if you're a witch, then you might have some really bad thoughts about that, right?
But you could say crucifixion. You're fucking crucifying me.
Yeah. People kind of like that one though.
That's right. And he's trying to like use it as and witch hunt doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something. It just kind of means that you're looking for something that doesn't exist.
I don't know. Inquiry, investigation. I mean, you want something that makes several points.
You want something that fucking has wow to it, like fucking whoa. That's why he used this word.
Yeah, but if you're egregiousness,
Yeah.
you could use that word. This one's tough. I've had no time to think about it. But I had a conversation about a similar thing. A woman, this was at Thanksgiving, and it wasn't politics and it wasn't religion. She talked about bosses who F-bomb employees.
Fuck you.
And she's like, that word makes a boss so empowered to make somebody feel bad. And I said, then you got a boss that's not so smart. And she said, I disagree. And I said, okay, let's say you came into, so I said, it sounds like you've been F-bombed by a boss. She said, yep. And I said, did you do a bad job? She's like, I don't know, maybe. But he was clearly not pleased with my work. I said, what if you had come into the office? And he said,
I'm absolutely and tremendously disappointed with your actions today. It disgusts me.
I said something. I said it even worse. I said, what if he brought you into the office and said, you did a piss poor job, or you did a poor job. Your job is so poor that you let down the company, you let me down. It is indicative of your complete inability and deficiency as a human being and an employee of this company to get anything done. The fact that you work here is a gift. Now leave my office, think about what you did, and don't ever make this mistake again.
Right, that does a lot more damage than
and I said to
you
her,
fucking suck.
Right.
Yeah.
How demeaned would you have felt if the guy said that versus he said, you're a terrible fucking employee, and, a little bit of fist pounding and get out of my office. She's like, I don't know, what you said was really kind of really would have dragged me down. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, it'd make you feel like shit. Yeah. So
Yeah.
here's where I know what you're saying.
But that my point is, there's words. There's
Right.
words to get you there.
Right. I see what you're saying. But to me, it's like that's same day, different fucking color. It's like everyone's always using the same shit. The only way that he could have gotten like if he said something like, this is reprehensible use of our government system, and this is a disgusting way for Democrats to be treating their president. And I'm horrified that what happened might happen in the future were this to continue, and that these people have been allowed to be in power at this point. Everyone sees that and they go, yeah. Fucking politicians say that shit every fucking day, dude. You're not getting eyes on that, and no one's caring. But the moment you say that this is a lynching, not only are you drawing, here the problem was that he got negative fucking blowback for that.
And I'm going to say that the only people that would substantially influence and garner appreciation from are people who are already on his side. Which means he accomplished nothing, because the people who aren't on his side are going to vilify him for using the word.
Yeah, and I don't even like that he used that word. I think it was a poor choice of words, but I don't know I just don't know what a better one would have been, is my point. I'm trying to figure it out.
Just explain it, right? Don't use a euphemism, let alone an ugly one.
Yeah. I guess that's
part of it is even I get your point.
Yeah.
And even if, go back to what we were talking about with regard to your coworkers, develop a thick skin. It's politics, man. It's politics, and it's on TV. And mind you, you and I mean, we swear like sailors on this show. Our language, our opinions, there's no holdbacks.
No, it's kind
But
of too late for
he's
that.
the president. I like being candid.
I like that too, but I like that he does that as well. It's to me, it's like there's no filter. But
But part of doing that job
is being calculating.
is being calculated
Yeah.
and using the right filters in the right circumstances.
Yeah. we just fucking.
Here's an interesting one.
I had a good point. I just forgot it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It wasn't your fault. It was my.
So our janitorial services for the facilities that I run is
Chris pushes him up.
right. There's some nice people.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a Ukrainian-owned business, and they employ mostly Ukrainian people. Doesn't even. I'm not even going there. I don't think it has anything to do with anything. But so this one guy, and I'm friendly with all these people, went back to Ukraine for a vacation for a couple of weeks, and I said to him, "Do me a favor. I'm really, really curious about what in the Ukraine people's perception of Trump is." Because you hear, maybe you don't, but if you're watching like really early morning network news, like my favorite team, Mika and Joe and all that, they're like, and even primetime CNN, they will say that Trump has so compromised, and in certain instances he has, but has so generally compromised the way the world looks at the U.S. that it's a total travesty. Guess what? I said, so do me a favor. Don't spend your vacation doing this, obviously, but just try to get a feel for how people think about America and how that might be different with regard to Trump. In the Ukraine, at least in the people he talked to, people are afraid of America again and kind of respect him.
Wow.
They're like Obama. He said, yeah. He said, I didn't pay. He's young. He's probably mid-20s at the oldest. He's like, Obama was a nice guy. Nobody was afraid of America. At that time, America wasn't going to do anything. You could do whatever you want, and America was not a factor. Trump, people are afraid of him because he's a little bit crazy. So
Well,
it's
he
kinda
does have ego. Well, he does have ego.
well, it's America's a big stick again, which was like exactly not what I expected to hear.
Yeah.
Because the press is saying things and it influences the way I think, which was alarming.
Wait, so it's almost like Trump did something to America? Did he like make it?
Well, it used to, at
Some
least
way?
in terms of kind of the old Soviet Union bloc, it said Obama was just too nice. Nobody feared America. And it gets back to, do we talk about the red line in the sand and what the fuck that meant and
Yeah.
how I was totally disappointed in Obama?
Yeah.
Right. If I were president when Assad was fucking dumping bleach bombs on people
Yeah.
and killing women and children and all that, I'd add a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
So, but Obama wouldn't do didn't do enough. So nobody was afraid of him. Now they're afraid of Trump. I think people being afraid of America in terms of not doing inhumane shit is a really good thing. I think that's a great role we play in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go to a certain level of egregiousness, a carrier's going to show up and fucking jets are going to start flying over, and we're going to have to answer to the world's policeman.
Can you imagine? First of all, I have to fucking wedge this in just because, but you didn't bite it the first time. Let's try it again.
Okay.
So you're saying that Trump? It's almost like he made America great again.
I'm not going there, man.
Sorry. I'm so fucking homie.
It's all right. Throw your red hat on, man.
Yeah. MAGA motherfucker. No. Yeah. Can you imagine a fucking?
It was just really interesting. They're like,
Yeah, I've heard that about Serbia too.
Obama was so nice, nobody feared America during
Yeah.
his tenure. And now, Trump's stirring the pot and he's a little bit crazy, and people are like, I better not piss that guy off.
Yeah, I've heard in Serbia they like him, but they also fucking hate Clinton because of the war. But Anyway,
Billary.
Bill. Yeah, Billary.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah. But can you imagine? You're some fucking dude in a desert driving a pickup truck with an AK-47, and maybe you got like an RPG, whatever, and a fucking fighter jet going 400 miles an hour over your head, just like rains hellfire down from you, and you have no fucking way of fighting back. How do you fight that? That's not a. That's like you're like you know. It's like fighting a ghost, an apparition. It's undefeatable.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell you're shooting that down. I don't know how.
So you're talking about just a flyover where you say, dude, we could kill you right now, but we're
No,
not.
like-
We're not today.
But we are doing it. We are dropping bombs on you. Like, this is war. Like, how do you, in a war, if you're some, fucking dude who doesn't have an AA gun or, surface to air missiles, what the fuck are you doing fighting against that,
So-
that F-35? You're doing nothing.
So I'm going to tell you a story, which might be alarming towards me. I don't care. When ISIS was in its height, what I would have done is I would have taken our special ops guys, or it's my understanding we never pulled the trigger. We got everybody there, and like, did I tell you about the guy who would burn people in cages with a flamethrower?
Yeah.
So that guy was taken out by a British sniper.
Yeah.
But he was triangulated on by American forces. So it was a joint thing, but we didn't pull the trigger, so we can say technically we're not involved in the conflict. What I would do is when you got, say, a table full of 3, 4, 5 high-level ISIS guys, I would have gotten special forces together, get your long-distance snipers, and while they're sitting at a...
Just
No. Whatever kill half of them. Put a bullet right in their head there. Right? And the guys are so far away you don't even hear gunfire. You just hear a little break in the window, and the guy fucking falls forward with his head blown off, and you kill half of them. And then the 2 other guys are like, they're either going to tell the story or not tell the story, but they're going to know, you know what? My not being dead, I'm pretty sure was a choice.
But also then they know, hey, my not being dead might have been a fluke, but I'm here today and I'm never going to go in a room with windows ever again. So it's like you got those two. If you get them. I know what you're saying about the fear factor.
The third thing is the fear factor. The third thing is these guys are so capable that if they wanted me dead that day, I'd have been dead. No, with a shot so precise on 2 guys, like boom, boom, they just fall over.
Just like a fucking incendiary 50 caliber round and just
Bam.
Pop. Yeah.
Or whatever a sniper rifle is, from a half a mile away.
Yeah, probably 50.
Again, where maybe you don't hear the gun shot, or you do, but it's 2-3 seconds later. And you're like, all right, we can't win this.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is like you would have already felt any third world country going up against America. You're outgunned to a fucking extreme level. And I don't know what it's those guerrilla tactics,
But back to my criticism of Obama, you're outgunned only if the gun is pointed at your nose and you see it.
Right. But, there's something that Malice always says is, what's the point of a loaded gun if you don't have your finger on the trigger? So it's like, why point it if you're not going to shoot it?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I was so pissed off at Obama. Like, red line in the sand, then they cross it, and you did
right.
nothing.
You could say that is a loaded gun, right? You just didn't fire
so
it.
fucking do
right.
something.
Yeah.
They crossed you set a line, they crossed your line, and then you did nothing.
You pussy. Right.
You pussy.
Trump dropped the fucking Moab for no reason. It was basically just for shits.
Is that a bunk buster?
Mother of all bombs, they call it, right? The
right.
largest conventional bomb. I like how they were like, we're not going to drop a nuke. Just the biggest fucking regular bomb will be fine. Yeah.
He's just pushing buttons.
Yeah. Right.
Right. I don't know if it's true or not, but do you remember where he said, can we fire a nuclear bomb into a hurricane and make it go away?
He was fucking joking.
Was he?
He must have been.
He just wants to push a nuclear bomb button.
Could you blame him?
Sure.
Growing up as a regular guy?
If an ICBM gets launched out of a missile silo that's being watched by the Soviet Union. You might create fucking World War III with atomic bombs, and you just destroy the world. Because you have this obsession
What the
with
fuck is he doing?
playing
They
with
shoot
these crazy...
nuke at Hurricane.
Right.
We'll try it next season. Yeah. They're like, oh, does it work? Americans are doing it.
Silo
Yeah.
number 123 just opened up. Oh my gosh, something's airborne. Fire back. Yikes, Ola.
I think they can tell based on the trajectory. They're like, it's going towards the coast of Florida.
Do they wait? Let's wait and see where it's going to land.
You
Fuck
have
that.
some time. No, you don't wait. You can tell by the trajectory of where it's flying.
If you wait,
But it would take 10
DEFCON
seconds
5,
to wait.
push the buttons. I don't know.
It would take 10 seconds. Have you never played? Well,
You're over
I
it.
grew up playing like war video games where it's all dramatized. So I guess
I was going to... So you're basing on,
nothing. Yeah.
destroying the world,
Fiction,
not
right?
a game?
Yeah, right.
That's not the best reference.
Well, no, it's got to, well, because it exits the atmosphere, right? Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't exit the atmosphere.
You're a guy, and you're in Russia, and you have access to this, and your orders are fire upon only if fired up, fire only if fired upon. And it's in the air.
But technically, you wouldn't have been fired upon if it was in the air going for the fucking, Florida coast.
Do you think in their like command orders or whatever the fuck they're called, they're like, and do your due diligence to really, really check out its trajectory?
They probably have a computer that does it like that. You don't think?
I don't know. I think they're still using.
They have computers that run, that operate, shoot guns
I
that
don't know if
shoot those out of the sky with lasers.
I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that because of money problems in Russia, even in some of the nuclear silo, like strategic offices, still using the abacus.
No way. Really?
I know.
I was gonna say you're fucking joking.
I'm fucking
I
with
was
you.
like, what the fuck is still using abacus?
Wait.
Almost done.
Right.
Buy me some time. Yeah, the guys.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah, they have a fucking, they have computers nowadays that just shoot. They shoot rockets at those things to
That's
blow them
one
up.
we could go around and around on.
No, I'm right. You're
think-
wrong.
Fine. We'll agree to disagree. I think launching nuclear missiles for whatever reason is a bad idea.
No, you said wanting to launch. You didn't say launching. When I said, can you blame him? That was in response to you saying he just wants to launch a missile. And I'm saying, growing up as a regular dude, not a fucking politician's son or a politician's son who's groomed to be like, I'm going to be president one day and this is a responsibility that falls on my shoulders. This is a guy that talks about grabbing women's pussies. Like cool shit is in his fucking. He's like,
all right. I was having
launch
a different conversation.
No, I know, but that's why I tried to bring it back. But you see what I'm saying? Can you blame him for like, you're like, yeah, fucking launched a nuke. How cool is that?
Yes,
blew up
that's
Russia.
not the guy.
Like, yeah,
It's
fucking.
not the guy you want in front of the buttons, man.
But
We don't want a
I'm
regular
not saying
guy.
that's like that's like if you carry a concealed carry you carry a pistol your whole life, and then the day you're 80 years old, the time has passed. You're just like, man, I wish someone would have like tried to jump me at least once so I could have shot the guy and like fucking used it. It was worthless to have it that whole time. It's like that, but before thought. So it's like I'm not necessarily going to launch it. It would just be cool if I was the guy that got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a dangerous man to have in office as president of the United States. That's all I'll say. Okay, so the human nature of it, sure. But I'd like to think you have somebody who's not quite so impulsive with those tools at his fingertips.
To you, are
And
nukes?
this is total presumption.
Yeah, to my generation, nukes aren't a real thing. But to your generation, the way I understand it, it's a very, very different
Well,
thing.
they were scary.
Yeah.
When we were young, we were terrified that the world would end in a nuclear war.
You guys were like taught to, duck and cover and shit like that.
That was more like 60s.
Yeah,
that kind of went away with the 60s. So when we
You
were
were a
young, it
child
was
of the
70s.
Yeah.
And there was it was like ducking under a desk. The joke became, the reason
Vaporized
you
under
duck,
a
the
desk.
reason you duck under a desk and bend down as much as you can.
So you can kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, it's to get your face as close to your ass so you can kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
So I mean, even as kids, we understood like you don't
survive it.
This ends the world.
Yeah. Unless
Right?
you're a cockroach or a Twinkie.
L.A., New York, Miami, and then Detroit's like top 10, right? You're gone, man. You're fucking gone.
Joe Rogan, or no, it wasn't Joe Rogan. It's Anthony Cumia said, he's like, maybe we should just nuke Detroit. He's like, look at Hiroshima. You know, he's like, look at Hiroshima. They're doing pretty well. That place is fucking clean. He's like, check it out.
Clean.
Yeah, he's like, it looks like it's all self-sufficient, self-sustaining.
Joe Rogan is at the Fox Theater as we speak.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And in one of his podcasts this week, somebody asked about Detroit, and he spoke very well of it, but in a very realistic light.
I love the city. I really enjoy it working there, and like, I think it's better.
You should follow me to work one day. Remember I told you the streets I drive down?
Well, you drive down shittier areas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more interesting to me.
I don't like to be around there. I actually, yesterday at work, I was late, so I parked close to my office instead of at the lot, and then I walked, and I was like, let me just fucking pop the radar off, put that in the glove box, and fucking lock that up. And I'm like taking a picture of whatever. That was scary, and I'm like wearing fucking like a nice jacket, and I'm wearing dress clothes. And
that's only a couple of blocks too.
No, it was like half a mile probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but still
10 blocks, whatever.
Yeah.
That's a ways. But anyway, I forget what my point was.
But I was fine. So now I'm kind of over that. Whatever. I've been outside, around fucking crazy psycho Detroit people for so long now that they just
Those are homeless people, right?
Yeah. But if someone's going to punch you in the face, it's going to be the insane guy,
Yeah.
Just run up and clock you.
Yeah, but
grab your phone.
There's police around where you work, right?
Yeah, a lot. And we have our own private security.
They're getting rid of the bad people.
Private army.
And they're letting the harmless people
go free. Yeah.
Do their thing.
More or less, yeah. That's kind of...
It introduces some, color to the city.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of lawless, even for law-abiding citizens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's something kind of cool. I'm not real big on giving panhandlers money, but on the corner before you get on the freeway, so there's a light. So half the traffic is stopped that's going to go get on I-75 from the company I work for. Lots of cars. There's a guy, and I feel kind of bad for him. He's really thin, and he's got it's not like a cleft palate, but something fucked up in his kind of face. We had kind of some kind of developmental thing. I don't know if he's mentally impaired or whatever, but he sits there and he plays a drum. He's just sitting there with a little portable snare drum, and he's playing service. It. He is. So I've given this guy $1 twice in the last month and a half. When I'm stopped right there and I'm the car that's next to him, I give him $1 because he's there, and it's kind of entertaining, right? And he's not just there with the sign, "Help me."
Right.
He's not asking for anything.
He has value.
So I've given him money twice, and I was driving by him yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Friday. And I honked, and he kind of looked, and he wasn't sure what the honk meant, and I smiled at him, and I gave him a thumbs up. And he immediately, either he remembered me or he just liked the honk and the thumbs up, and he got this big ass grin on his face, and it just made my day, man, because he just smiled. Some guy honked at him, thumbs up. He didn't get any money, but somebody was like, "All right, dude, good for you."
Yeah.
And he plays the drum, right? So somebody's with the guitar, even if they suck, at least they're trying to do something for you. And I thought that was commendable, and I'd give this guy money.
All right, so I have one last point that follows up on that, and it's really just a story about a story, not necessarily something that I experienced, but it's a funny thought. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, so people who are, you're saying it's a good thing that he's doing something. He's providing something of value in exchange instead of just being like, I'm a fucking homeless wreck. Come and give me $1.
Or trying.
Right. Yeah. So in New York City, I sound like such a non-New Yorker. New York City. In New York, people go on the subways and dance and shit.
Wait, was that your imitation of somebody from Britain who moved to New York and got their...
No, Gavin McInnes said his dad, when he saw New York for the first time driving around the bridge, was like, New York City.
Okay.
Scottish guy. But
Got it.
Yeah. That's
anyway.
weird. It's like it's like an inside joke between me and myself
Okay.
and I. So people try to provide value, to make money on the subway by dancing, and like crazy fucking dancing, like the kind of dancing where if you're too close, you get kicked in the head.
Okay.
And Michael Malice had this chick on his show, and it was the day that I was in studio watching, so we're
Oh my
sitting there on the
gosh, you went
couch.
and saw him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I met him, and he was so fucking. He was like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And we're like, "Oh, we're here to watch." And he's like, "We're like, is that okay?" And he's like, "Apparently." And I was like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "We can go." I'm like, we'll leave. I don't want to. He's like, "No, it's fine. Just sit down. Just sit down." And I was like, we just fucking
Oh my
ruined
God.
his day. It was so funny. No, I get it. He's like, who are these fucking strangers in my thing affecting my?
He's a pussy. Anyway.
Yeah, he strikes me as a bitch, but I still like him for his thoughts. Anyway, so he had this chick on, Eliza Orleans, who's a public defense, and they were discussing. Malice basically made the point, hey, I know that I have to live in a world where police brutality is gonna exist. It has to exist. It's like not necessarily has to, but it will regardless.
Right, the number.
Right. It's going to happen. So let's pick at least. If I have a say in who that's going to get dished out to, Mal said, I want it to be those fuckers on the subway who are dancing and fighting people and attacking people who tell them to turn the music off and shit like that. So those people should get a fucking cane to the head. And she is a public defender. And she was like, oh my God, like that's so horrible. She's like, some of these kids are actually really talented and you just need a space to perform, and all they're doing is trying to provide a service. And if someone gets in the way, that's sometimes it's their fault. She's like, it was very much like they say mansplaining.
Okay.
She was liberal splaining to him, right? And she goes, you don't think that those kids, these really talented kids who really just are trying to make a buck and like do something fun, you don't really think that they should be getting beaten by police, do you? And he goes like this, I absolutely do. It was like the most perfect fucking thing ever. And I'll always remember that. I absolutely do. Just gold. And I kind of know what he's talking about, but I've never been in that situation. And no, not the guy with the drums. He should be fine, but
I don't know about beating. It's kind of an extreme first step.
Well, it's not a first step. It's an existing step. You're just relocating it.
Well, that wasn't part of the discussion.
He's saying, I live in a world where police brutality exists and it will always exist. So let's just hypothetically get to pick who gets the brutality. He's like, people who do that.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right.
Yep, right. But so 999 out of 1,000 people would not understand what he's saying. There's going to be police, and if a group is of a certain size, somebody in it's going to be bad and brutal.
Yeah.
And that's it's just numbers.
Right.
But people would have thought he was condoning
Beating up street fucking urchins.
Well, just random police brutality.
Right. Well,
that's the problem with taking.
I wouldn't have even ever guessed that people don't understand it. That's the problem with my where I'm at. I don't know that I can't. How do I spot stupidity more easily?
Think of this. If it requires interpretation,
good luck.
More than half the people aren't going to get it because some of them are too fucking lazy to listen that closely, and some of them are incapable of the interpretation.
I feel like for a lot of people, it's the latter.
I think, I don't know. The first part's pretty fucking significant.
Too lazy?
They're the NASCAR people. They don't want to listen to some smart guy talk in such a way that if you don't listen closely, you might miss his point.
Because you missed a word, right?
Because people are too fucking lazy. It's so sad. It's so sad.
I think those people aren't. This is going to sound bad, but I'm really not. If you're someone who is gifted with knowledge, or let's just say intelligence, because knowledge and intelligence are different. if you're someone who's gifted with intelligence, born with it, which is what you are when you have it, and you squander that with fucking roundy, boom, fire, I don't know, I think you're wasting that gift that you got.
Yeah, but
So
my
I'm
point,
saying a lot of people, I think that it's actually the other way around, where they're not born with that.
yeah, no. So maybe you're missing something. My point is, the reason the roundy round people watch the roundy
This
round,
is easy.
no, not. It's because water rises to its own level, and that's their point of buoyancy.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's easy to understand. It's easy to.
But for them, it's not even easy. It's just
That's where it is.
what matches up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's.
It's not even a cognizant
Right,
thought.
right. It's just
Michael Malice. They put on Michael Malice, and while he's not my cup of tea, most of the time he's at least entertaining.
Oh, he's fucking funny as hell. I absolutely do.
I don't,
That was
okay.
the best. I want that to be a fucking like a clip that we play.
He entertains me. He doesn't necessarily make me laugh.
He
but
makes me.
entertains
I
me.
die
I
sometimes
know you like
laughing.
the guy.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But the point being, I'll listen to him because he's interesting to listen to. Sometimes you want to listen to. I mean, the devil you don't know is somebody you want to get to know, and he's not even a devil. Just he's. I'll listen to him here and there. And most of the time it frustrates me. I get over him and I'll go back and take another dose. But anyway, the point being, most people be like, why would you do that? Why would you listen to a guy whose point of view you don't necessarily care for or you don't like? When he talks with all these big words and big ideas that you got to sit there and listen, or like, I don't get it. That's most of America, dude. It's so sad.
But you're not. But you don't get it though. I'm saying you don't get it.
I understand every word the guy says. I understand every
Right.
word
That's
he's
not
coming from.
like who I don't. I'm struggling believing that a person that doesn't understand all those words exists. I haven't met them. What's your barrier to entry here? Vocabulary? That's a pretty easy
I would
stone
chuck
to.
it out into two things. So let's say 50% was just an arbitrary number I grabbed, right? And then again, take half of who doesn't want to watch them. One is if they try, they can't get it. The other is it's just too much work.
Okay.
Bing and boom.
Yeah.
It's just too much work, and that's so sad.
I'm even getting to the point now where every now and then I'll be like, "That's flawed thinking," but with him, but I still with Malice.
Yeah, but people don't even want to pay that much attention to formulate an opinion on what he has to say. I mean, he's a really smart guy, and he always presents shit in really smart, cerebral ways.
Yeah.
And in order to get anything out of his show, you have to listen. Like, I would say 90% of the podcasts I listen to, at least during one point of them, I rewind something. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, you want to listen to it again?
What was that exactly?
Yeah.
And some of that's a product of I'll be out at work and I'm busy doing shit and it's on in the background and I might be like, what's that point?
Yeah.
And other times I am not paying close enough attention to have understood it the first time and I play it again. And I would even say some of those, it's just a concept that I need to think about more to understand. People aren't going to do that. They're just not going to do that. How fucking sad is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Last time I had to rewind something to understand it, but maybe like if I didn't hear it, but yeah, whatever.
No, but my point is,
Right.
I'm listening with energy.
No, I know what you're saying, and I'm trying to demonstrate my connection to your point, or my relatable, my.
People would rather just wait for
Yeah.
NASCAR.
Yeah, that's sad. I've been told, and I think I started the episode with this, where we already went on a rant. I've been told that I don't connect with the middle class as much as I might want to.
And there you have it.
My friends are like, you come off as a fucking smart guy, and people don't like smart guys.
Sorry. Okay. Here's how we'll end it.
Sorry, not sorry. Just kidding.
My senior year of high school. We had a Friday night football game, so I had Saturday off. My girlfriend and I went to U of M to watch the Michigan State game. This is not going to go over well. We lost. Michigan lost. When I got really, really excited about going to Michigan, you know what the chant was? Did I tell you this? After the game? So as the clock's winding down and we're losing, and we weren't supposed to lose, U of M, at least the student section, is chanting, "That's all right. That's okay. You're going to work for us someday."
Oh my God. You're going to work for us someday. You know what?
I think unless you got something, that's maybe a good place to end the show, unless you got something you really want to say.
Well, I just was going to say, maybe back then that was true. I'm ruining it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. You're going to work for me someday. How about that?
That's why my mind went
Make
there.
it more permanent, yeah.
Sorry.
Not sorry.
The smartest and the hardest working, they wind up managing the rest of the people.
Maybe I don't fit in, but I'll be your boss. That's okay.
But you'd be a nice boss, right?
Nope. I'm just joking. No.
I'm going to be a fucking prick. All right. So
Can't
that's
wait.
it. Charlie's going to be a prick.
Is a prick.
Get ready. I don't know if it's 2 months or 2 years away, but should you all be at the fast loan generation company, metaphorically speaking, then reap what you sow. Over and out. Hang loose.
Peace.
Peace.